Hello and welcome to another screencast here in Phuket Pals. And today I will help you with your GED RLA. Again, this is Teacher Marco, and I will focus on a topic that is commonly asked on your GED RLA test, which is the elements of fiction. I will not talk about all the elements, but I will just talk and focus on just point of views for today. Now, you will be encountering questions on your reading test that will ask you to provide the point of view that the author um, used um, in the short story or the fiction passage that was provided on your test. So every story has a point of view. Now, in order for you to determine the story's point of view, you need to determine the narrator of the story. So you have to separate the dialogue, which the dialogue contains the characters, speaking. This is when characters speak, and the narration is when the narrators speak. So there are many kinds or types of point of view. There is what we call as omniscient point of view. Um, this is when the narrator knows everything, knows how the characters feel, knows what will happen next. So the key word here is all knowing, or they know all. The narrator knows everything. The story is told in the third person by a narrator whose knowledge and prerogatives are unlimited. So such narrators are free to go wherever they wish. They enter minds and hearts of characters and they tell us what they are thinking or feeling. So, omniscient, that's what we call omniscient. Or in some books, they usually say third person omniscient. This is the most common form of narration because it's comfortable, but it doesn't provide that much of suspense because the narrator knows everything. The narrator knows how every character feels. So the element of suspense is somehow lacking um, on these particular works of fiction. Now, another point of view is the third person limited. Now, the third person limited is when the story is told in third person, but the viewpoint of the viewpoint is only in a single character in the story. They tell us what these characters see and hear and what they feel and think. They possibly interpret the characters' thoughts and behavior. So it's only limited. The keyword there is limited. So it's limited probably to the main character. Now we also have first person. Now in here, the author disappears into one of the characters who tells us the story in the first person. So meaning the narrator is part of the story. Okay, it doesn't mean that the narrator or the writer is the one who's talking. Of course, this is fiction, but somehow the feel or the point of view is that it seems like the writer is part of the story, or the writer is also a character of the story. Okay, they make it feel that way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the writer is or this is something that happened in the real life or real situation of the writer. Okay, the first person point of view shares the limitations of the third person limited. It's similar to that. It's just that third person uh, it's just pure narration. It's the third person is not a character in the story. Now, there's also what we usually see as an objective point of view, or some books may say third person objective. So the narrator disappears into a kind of roving sound camera. This camera can go anywhere but can record only what is seen and heard. It doesn't show feelings, or the narrator cannot predict feelings or narrate feelings or emotions. That's why it's called objective. It only sees uh, physical things or events. All right, so it's the way it's described in this slide. It's like a camera. It cannot comment, interpret, or enter a character's mind. With this point of view, uh, readers are placed in the position of spectators at a movie or play. So, um, the narrator cannot give a comment or interpret emotions or character. Okay. There's also another one which is not included here, which is the second person point of view. This is usually using pronouns like you, personal pronouns like you, uh, and usually this kind of a point of view is commonly used if the narrator or the writer wants interaction with its audience, and the narrator wants to bring in the audience and giving commands or um, giving commands and requests to its readers. Okay. So those are the point of views that are common in fiction. And usually, like what I said earlier, on your GED RLA test, you will be given some questions and passages, and you will be asked to identify what point of view was used in this particular part of the passage. So, of course, the GED RLA test, especially the reading part, will be on multiple choice. So you will encounter these terms. So it's good that you know this today. Thank you for listening, and I hope to hear from you again next time. See you again. Bye bye.